Yo, what's up guys, it's King Sean here, back with another video, and in today's video, I'll be discussing the Commanders' top 30 visits thus far. I'll be discussing who they've met with so far and who they have visited so far. So, if you guys are new to my channel, leave a like down below, subscribe, turn on notifications, mother with 3K subs if you could, hit that sub button, I'd really appreciate it. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so we're going to go in chronological order here. It's, only 4 reports have come out about players we have visited with or met with, but we're going to be visiting and meeting with way more players in the next couple of weeks before the draft. But let's start here. Reported by Ryan Fowler first. The Commanders will host Arizona offensive tackle Jordan Morgan on a top 30 visit, a source said. One of the premier tackles in the class. So Jordan Morgan, huge fan of him. He played left tackle at Arizona. He was a pretty darn good tackle at Arizona. I mean, this past season, played a total of 787 offensive snaps, 310 run blocking snaps, 477 pass blocking snaps. Only allowed 2 sacks, which is pretty good. 1 hit and 11 hurries. In 2021, I'm pretty sure that was his freshman year at Arizona. Wasn't amazing. Allowed 5 sacks, 7 hits, and 15 hurries. But over the next 2 years, he would get better. I just read off his 2023 statistics. And in 2022, played 670 offensive snaps, allowed only 1 sack, 2 hits, and 14 hurries. So that's a big improvement from 2021 and took an even bigger improvement in 2023. This will be a huge addition of Jordan Morgan drafting him because we need a left tackle. Obviously, we need both a left tackle and right tackle. Like I said in my previous video when we signed Cornelius Lucas, I just don't trust Brandon Daniels and Andrew Wiley enough, starting at right tackle. I feel like we have to address right tackle in the draft. It would have been nice to sign a guy like maybe Jonah Williams or Tyron Smith, but it is what it is. Our only real option at this point is Josh Jones, who isn't terrible, but we'll see if we sign him. But Jordan Morgan, he'd be a plug and play immediate starter for us at left tackle. That would be an amazing pick. I think right now he's projected to go late first, early second. I do have a feeling he could slide to 36, but I also have a feeling that he may go to a team, maybe actually I don't think the Panthers need a tackle, but he may go to a team like the Niners. They could address right tackle, and although he's played left tackle over the majority of his career, he could slide in at left tackle for them. Also, the Chiefs, they need tackle. They could go Jordan Morgan at 32, so we'll see. But overall, I would love if we were able, and I feel like we will, trade back up into the first round, maybe one of our seconds from this year and a second from next year, to trade back up into the first round for maybe a tackle, maybe a wide receiver, but probably a tackle, because tackle probably our biggest need right now by far, because we're just missing. We don't have any tackles. I mean, we re-signed Cornelius Lucas, and that's about it. That's we got Cornelius Lucas, Andrew Wiley, Brandon Daniels. That's not enough. So we're gonna need to address tackle, and I feel like Jordan Morgan would fit in perfectly at our tackle position, our left tackle hole. The next guy up is Kiran Emigadeji. I hope I pronounced his name right. Is correct me if I didn't in the comment section. But I actually do like Kiran a lot. It was reported by Justin M_NFL on Twitter. Go check out his article he did on Kiran. I'm just gonna call him that for the rest of the video. Well, for the rest of this segment at least. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but check out his article. There's some very insightful stuff in there. But he basically reported that he has some upcoming top 30 visits with the Bears, Browns, and the Commanders, as well as some other teams. And I like Kieran. I mean, he's a pretty raw prospect, not going to lie. He still has some stuff to work on with his power and his footwork, but I feel like that's all, coachable. Obviously, we hired Bobby Johnson this offseason. Not a huge fan of the hire. He was the Giants' offensive line was pretty horrendous last season. They gave up 80-some sacks last season, which is I'm pretty sure second most of all time in the NFL, well, NFL history, which is insanely bad. I mean, our offensive line wasn't any better either, but the Giants' offensive line was worse, which is pretty insane, because I thought we had the worst offensive line last year, but no, it was the Giants. So hopefully Bobby Johnson's hire works out. Obviously, Dan Quinn and Adam Peters, they know what they're doing. They haven't given me anything to not trust them yet, but we shall see. But Kieran, he's pretty good. His PFF grade, he was actually injured this past season, but he did have an 89.5 PFF grade, 234 offensive snaps in 4 games played. He gave up 0 sacks and 5 hurries. He's only given up 1 sack in his entire career, which is very impressive. 2022, he played in all 10 games, had 666 offensive snaps, 0 sacks allowed, 1 hit allowed, and 4 hurries. And then in 2021 is when he gave up that sack, but also allowed 4 hits and 11 hurries. Not bad at all. So overall, he's been really good. He's played majority at left tackle throughout his career, but in 2021, he was the starting left guard for Yale, and then he moved to left tackle in 2022. He's pretty solid at left tackle. I think he's better at left tackle than at left guard, in my opinion. He did give up 11 hurries in 2021 when he was at left guard, so I would say he's better at left tackle than left guard. If you were to draft him, he'd be pretty. I feel like he's a guy where, we want to bring in a veteran tackle, so maybe like a David Bakhtiari. I know he's very, very injury prone. I wouldn't I wouldn't love the signing, but if we did sign him, I'd understand it because he is a veteran tackle. He's a solid tackle when healthy. That's the issue, though. When healthy, he's almost never healthy. So, and if we were to sign Tyron Smith, I would have loved that because we could draft a guy like Keaton. He could sit behind Tyron Smith for like a year, and then next season he'd be all set and go. So I would have loved, Keaton as a developmental guy. Sorry, behind Tyron Smith. I still wouldn't mind drafting him because he's projected to go like second, third round right now. So I wouldn't mind drafting him, but I would much rather go with a guy that we know is going to be like really good, like Patrick Paul or like Tyler Guyton, Jordan Morgan, like I mentioned earlier. So I overall like Keaton, but I feel like he would have been like the perfect option for us. He could play right tackle too, I'm pretty sure. He didn't play right tackle at all in college, but I feel like he can do it. He'd definitely be able to. I feel like like I said, he would have been a perfect guy if we brought in like a Tyron Smith or another veteran tackle, but wouldn't mind drafting him like the third, second round. But we shall see. I think we would prefer a guy like Patrick Paul, Tyler Guyton, or Jordan Morgan. Next up, we got Ja'Tavion Sanders, a.k.a. JT Sanders. It was reported by Ben Standig first that he will be one of our top 30 pre-draft visits. And I love JT Sanders. I really do. I spent a lot of time watching a couple of highlights on him, some clips, some film. So I really love his game. He's the second best tight end in this draft by far. I mean, after Brock Bowers, it is a sizable gap, but then there's Ja'Tavion Sanders, and then it's a sizable gap again. And then there's everyone else like Ben Sinnott, Kate Stover, Theo Johnson. I'm actually a big fan of Theo Johnson. I hope we bring him in on the top 30 visit. But this isn't a surprise that we're bringing in tight ends on visits because Zach Ertz designing does not block us or like just stop us from meeting with other tight ends. Not at all, because Zach Ertz, he's 33, 34 years old at this point. Whatever rookie tight end we're going to bring in, Zach Ertz is going to help develop them. And if we were to bring Ja'Tavion Sanders in, I would be very happy because he is pretty good. I heard he did have a bit of an underwhelming pro day today, but that doesn't stop me from taking him like the second or third round. I haven't seen, some mock drafts recently that have him going in the third round, like early, mid, third round. I feel like that's interesting. I feel like he's still going to go second round, at the very least late second round, or maybe early third round, but I don't think he'll fall all the way to the mid third round because he's the second best tight end in this draft. I mean, you could say it's not saying much because this is a weak tight end class, unlike last year's tight end class was stacked. I mean, we had like Dalton Kincaid, Luke Musgrave, Sam Laporte. It was unbelievable. Michael Mayer. I really wish we had gotten a tight end last year, but it is what it is. Ron Rivera, horrible, general manager, just horrible coach in general. But, it's going to change this year. We're going to actually address the tight end position. I feel like we're going to do it within the first 4 rounds. Ja'Tavion Sanders, like I said, the best spot for him, in my opinion. I wouldn't mind picking him with pick 40. I feel like we do have bigger needs in tight ends, though, like edge rusher. I feel like we could address that need. I feel like edge rusher is still a need, although Dante Fowler, you could argue it's not. I mean, Dante Fowler and Cleveland Farrell, those were good signings, but I feel like they're more depth signings, situational or rotational pieces. I feel like we still need to get a pure starter opposite of Dorrance Armstrong Jr. So I wouldn't mind getting edge in second round and wide receiver as well as tackle. I feel like if we don't trade back up into the first round and draft a tackle, we're definitely selecting one with one of our second round picks. So we'll see where JT Sanders ends up. I mean, he's really good. He's a very functional on the move blocker. He had 12 catches of 20 yards plus. That was second among FBS tight ends, just behind Brock Bowers, of course. So he was a pretty dominant tight end last year with Texas and the year before that. So overall, I would love if we were to draft Ja'Tavion Sanders, whether that's in the second round or third round. Now we have the hot topic of yesterday, J.J. McCarthy. It was reported by Jordan Schultz first that the Washington Commanders are meeting with J.J. McCarthy Thursday night to have dinner and, just to talk with him before Michigan's Pro Day on March 22nd, which is Friday. So this is expected, all right. And I saw a lot of fans overreacting yesterday, like, oh, why are we interviewing J.J. McCarthy? Why are we meeting with him? Adam Peters and company are doing their due diligence. They're going to do this with every single quarterback. They're going to do it with Bo Nix, probably, Spencer Rattler, Caleb Williams. I'm pretty sure they're going to meet with Caleb Williams today. They went to his pro day today. I even saw Adam Peters hug Caleb Williams. I might put that on screen later today. But they met with him, I'm pretty sure. Drake May, Jaden Daniels, even Michael Penix Jr. So we're going to do our due diligence on every single quarterback, and that starts with meeting with every single quarterback. So, and right now, we don't know who we're going to go at number 2 overall. We've been seeing all these experts saying, oh, all these reports, rumors saying, and all these analysts saying and experts saying that Jaden Daniels to 2 is a lock, Drake May to 2 is a lock. The reality of it is we just don't know what's going to happen, and that's actually the beauty of it. We don't have a front office where everything is going to be leaked now. Adam Peters and company, they're going to keep their mouths shut, and I absolutely love that. That is something that Dan Snyder and his, and the front office before Ron Rivera did not do at all. So I absolutely love that we're keeping everything silent. And I mean, we're probably not going to take J.J. McCarthy at 2. It's most likely going to be Drake May or Jaden Daniels. That's not to say it's a possibility, because it definitely is, but it's just most likely going to be, Jaden Daniels or Drake May. So we'll see, but it's going to be most likely those 2. But let's get back on track to J.J. McCarthy. He's not a bad quarterback, and I wouldn't take him at 2. Like, I wouldn't take him at 2 at all. I wouldn't even, if we were to trade back and take him, I just wouldn't do that. I'm not the biggest fan of J.J. McCarthy. I'm not calling him trash or anything. People have been comparing him to Daniel Jones. I think it would be funny if the Giants took him at 6, because it would be, like a repeat of the Daniel Jones pick. But I think he's a better prospect than Daniel Jones was in 2019. I mean, he doesn't turn over the ball much. He only threw 4 interceptions this past season. The year before had only threw 5 interceptions. I feel like he's just a bit mid. Okay, I feel like he's just mid. He doesn't have he doesn't have a bad floor. He just doesn't have the high ceiling. And I'm going with the higher ceiling players in Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels. I mean, McCarthy threw 22 touchdowns this past season and 4 interceptions. The year before, I think similar numbers, around 20 some touchdowns and then 5 interceptions. But he had only 100 yards against Washington in the national championship game and 0 passing touchdowns. It was really Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum that carried Michigan to the win. So J.J. McCarthy, the Michigan's offense didn't have to rely on his arm much. They could rely on Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, the run game, which, took a lot of pressure off of J.J. McCarthy's shoulders. But, I'm pretty sure when Cliff Kingsbury, a report came out that Cliff Kingsbury asked if J.J. McCarthy could, audible to I'm pretty sure J.J. McCarthy actually said this himself in his interview at the Combine to the media. He basically said that Cliff Kingsbury asked him if he could audible to a go route out the line of scrimmage. He said, I wish. So, I mean, Michigan just didn't do that a ton, when he was in college. They don't do that a ton with their quarterbacks in general. They would just give them a play. Then they didn't ask their quarterbacks to adjust at the line of scrimmage or anything. They're just giving them a play and then run it. So that's, one concern there. But J.J. McCarthy, like I said, I wouldn't take him at 2, but we're doing our due diligence. That's what this front office is going to do, and that is the beauty of it. So comment down below if y'all would take J.J. McCarthy at 2, because I personally wouldn't, and I, doubt that we actually will. It'll be between Drake May and Jaden Daniels. So that is it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below. Subscribe, turn on notifications. I'm on the 3K subs. If you could, hit that sub button. I really appreciate it. And other than that, it's been King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.